It is both a privilege and an honor to welcome you all as we celebrate the National Startup Day today, a day dedicated to recognizing the incredible contribution, ambition, and resilience of startups and entrepreneurs of our country. National Startup Day, observed on January 16, commemorates the founding of Mission Startup India, launched by the Government of India in 2016 to foster innovation and promote startups in the country. In 2022, the Prime Minister of Bharat, Shri Narendra Modi ji, declared January 16th as National Startup Day to recognize and celebrate the contributions of startups to the nation's socio-economic growth and self-reliance. Today is a special day to reflect on how far we've come and celebrate the exciting journey that lies ahead for the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the country. As we've gathered today, we are also reminded of the vital role incubation centers play in nurturing the next generation of game changers, trailblazers, and industry disruptors. Network of 100 plus BioNest, EUVA, and Sparsh centers supported by BIRAC have always been at the forefront, providing startups with the tools, mentorship, and resources they need to grow, scale, and succeed. Whether it's through access to cutting edge facilities, expert guidance, or a collaborative community, our incubation centers are helping to shape the future of innovation in biotechnology. We are immensely proud of all our centers and partners who are the real extended arms of BIRAC, furthering the mission and mandate of promoting and nurturing biotech entrepreneurship far across the country. We also congratulate all our startups for their great achievements and contributions to the society and the economy. With this, I would now request Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director BIRAC, for his address on the National Startup Day. Over to you, sir.
My dear directors of the incubation center, CEOs, incubation managers, the startups that are there in the incubation centers, the other dignitaries that are present here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so delighted to be joining you online on this National Startup Day. And I would be actually sharing my passion and our shared vision towards how this biotech innovation ecosystem has grown over the years and what else can be done to take it to the next level. So I have a small presentation to make which says BIRAC energizing the biotech startup ecosystem in India. And then we can have some questions that has already been given by you, which I'll try to answer. And my team is also there to interact with you. Although this is an online session, please consider this as a very, very close-knit community, and we are always there together to help each other and voice our concerns, anything that we can do for the ecosystem. So if we talk about the sector overview of biotechnology, we can see that the bioeconomy, the market size itself has grown from 2023, which was in US dollars 151 billion, to now 2030, which is, the future projection, which is, projected to be US dollars 300 billion. In 2025, this is the latest report, which has not been published but has been shared by Association of Biotech-led Enterprises, says that the US dollar 189 billion for this bioeconomy. This is tremendous. If we talk about the bioeconomy in 2014, the 10 years back, it was very less actually. It was in say 35 billion. And this see a logarithmic phase of a great increase in the bioeconomy. I think this reflects how the whole ecosystem has grown. It's not the one or two companies or few companies that have grown, but the whole ecosystem, the startup community, the bigger industries, the academia, and the number of IEPs that have been filed. So many activities. If we break down into segments, it will be actually very, very enlightening. And later in slides, some of the slides, we will see that. But say bioeconomy value in 2023, if we segment it into a different segments, then we see that the largest segment is in bioindustrial, and which is very, very encouraging to see. And then biopharma, which is 35.6%, and then bioagri, which is 8.2%, and bio-IT, bio-research, which is around 8%. The key pillars driving the India's bioeconomy success are innovation ecosystem, that we have a very robust innovation ecosystem, climate and biodiversity, capacity building, the policy support, product commercialization. These are some of the key pillars which can drive the India's bioeconomy. The Indian biotechnology sector is expected to grow at CAGR of 12.3% by 2030. This shows that this is a very sunrise industry and it has a huge potential. Uh, if we talk about India's position globally in biotech or bioeconomy, it's the 12th largest destination of biotechnology worldwide. It's third best destination for biotechnology in Asia Pacific. It's the largest vaccine manufacturer globally. Share in the global biotechnology industry is around 3%. 95%, 95 plus bioincubation centers by DBT in BIRAC, which has been set up. If you talk about SPURS centers and EUR center, which I'll talk about more, the number is more than 100, which are also, I mean, these EUR centers and SPURS centers are also pre-incubation, or you can say a smaller version of incubation centers, bioness centers. We have 8,000 plus biotech startups and 8,800 plus companies. 1 million plus skilled workforce in the sector has been created. I think this is a very, very impressive number. However, if we look at closely these numbers, it says 3% share in the global biotechnology industry only. Whereas just now I mentioned that is the third best destination, largest vaccine manufacturer. And if we talk about pharmaceutical industry, again, we are very, by volume, we are very high. So why it is that is we are only representing 3% of the global biotechnology industry. The reason is by volume we may be high, but by value we are actually still less. And when I talk about value, actually I mean the innovation, the novel products or services that we are providing. It may still, we have to go a long way. And that's where the incubation centers who are catering to the needs of the startups in the innovation area holds the key to the future of our country. The major bottleneck currently in the innovation ecosystem is that although we have created a lot of incubation centers, they are plug and play models. We have provided laboratory facilities, mentorship, branding, networking, and so many other support system for the startup community. But still the bottleneck is that they cannot go forward. They are not able to scale it up. When I say scale up, it has various connotations. Scale up means the space for them to move into a larger space, that is the space requirement. That the product which they are working on has to be actually produced or manufactured at a larger scale, which requires GMP facilities, which requires clean room facilities, which may require bigger fermentation facilities and all, which are not presently available in any of the incubation centers, barring few where we may have some pilot scale manufacturing, but still that is a great requirement. And then, of course, there is a requirement of regulatory framework, because emerging new technologies will mean that regulatory framework is very, very clear, so that these innovations can move in the direction of commercialization. Without a good regulatory framework for the emerging technologies or the new technologies, I think it will be very difficult for any innovator to come into it, and even if they come, it will be very difficult for them to commercialize. So therefore, we have created Regulatory Affairs and Policy Advocacy Division within BIRAC, and you have to actually work closely with this division. All the incubation centers, I request to work closely with our RAPA division, so that there's any regulatory hurdles that your incubations and incubatees are facing, the startups are facing, we can solve it together. And we also learn in the process, and you also learn, we will actually liaise very closely with the regulators, so that any issues faced by these startups can be resolved in a very, very timely manner. The first problem which I mentioned, the scale up, we have come out with, as you know, all of you might be knowing, we have come out with the manufacturing biomanufacturing scheme or project, and the policy through which it has come is BioEthi policy, which we say biotechnology for environment, economy, and employment. Uh, Here we want to create biomanufacturing hubs, biofoundries, and even bio AI hubs. Of course, I mentioned the regulatory enablers and skilling and human resources also. But these are the basic infrastructure or basic framework through which the biomanufacturing will be effected. And the areas in which we will be working on is bio-based chemicals and enzymes, functional foods and smart proteins, precision biotherapeutics, climate resilient agriculture, carbon capture and utilization, futuristic space and marine research. Many of you might have applied in this scheme, and many of you might have got the letters also of support. Maybe very less because it was specifically meant for companies who are having some molecules that they can scale up, and some clusters who could have applied as for biofoundry scheme. So maybe, but we'll come out with the next call very soon, and many of you can again apply. I think this will there will be a lot of repetition or a lot of we will advertise it many more times. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunity for you all to apply. The Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC, as you all know, is nurturing innovation from ideation to commercialization. And biotech sector is investment heavy, high risk. There's a long gestation period. There's a low success. Of course, it could be very, very highly rewarding, monetarily as well as emotionally, and also content wise. I mean, we all feel very contented if we come out with a new therapy, a new something which changes the human life condition of human life. It's a Government of India enterprise, Section 8, not-for-profit company under the aegis of Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology. And it was set up in 2012. We have already celebrated 10 years of BIRAC. Now we are in our teenage years. And definitely teenage years, as you know, comes with a lot of responsibility, but also we try to do a lot of new things. So definitely, I would like to also deliberate upon what are the things that we are trying to, look into. But not as a teenager. We would like to show a lot of maturity in handling many of these, programs and projects that we are talking about. Supports startups, entrepreneurs, medium and large scale companies for high risk innovation to develop innovative, affordable products to address the unmet need. And the key strategies are to foster innovation and entrepreneurship in all places of research, to promote affordable innovation in key social sectors, higher focus on startups and small and medium enterprises, contribute through partners for capability enhancement, encourage diffusion of innovation through partners, enable commercialization of discovery, ensure global competitiveness of Indian enterprises. This slide shows the spread and length and breadth of country. You can see the spread of our innovation network, which is primarily driven by the Bioness centers and the EUA centers and the SPURS centers. SPURS centers are not represented here, but there are 18 SPURS centers and 3 knowledge partners for these SPURS centers. Maybe we will, put these SPURS centers also here because they were run a different program, but nevertheless they are the most important aspect of social innovation and the capacity building in those areas. um, there are 100 plus incubation centers, biotech incubation centers, I can say, in the country, and we are trying to increase the number every year. At least 20 incubation centers we will try to add, and it includes both EUA centers and SPURS centers also. Includes means 10 EUA centers and 10 SPURS centers. Definitely, we would like to add every year. More than that, but I'm being conservative. I'm just telling minimum. 1,300 plus IPs have been filed. I think the numbers will grow much higher. And these are conservative numbers that we have received from the inputs from the incubation centers. But I am sure that these numbers are much higher. There are 800 plus products in the market. There are 20,000 to 2,500 plus startups which are supported directly. But I don't think there is any company in India, biotech related life sciences company, which has not used our facility or in some way got help through our network or indirectly. So I think these numbers also are very high. But I'm just showing 2,500 plus startups. But these numbers definitely are much higher. Institutions supporting the academic innovations to develop POCs and talent pool for startup incubation and entrepreneurship. As you know, we support the academic innovations also through our programs called AIR and Entrepreneurs in Residence, which we will be launching very soon. Infrastructure, we have a world-class infrastructure supported for POC to pilot scale early stage manufacturing with capacities to generate data for regulatory submissions. If we talk about industry, we have enabled cutting edge R&D for pre-product development, thereby creating high skilled jobs and investment opportunities. The startup day was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Startup India Hub, as he says, will be the single point of contact for the entire ecosystem and enable knowledge exchange and access to funding. The major framework in which this will be effected would be to consolidate the current ecosystem, to grow the ecosystem, and facilitate the stakeholders. Startup India, if we talk about the startup revolution, um, and we talk about the startup in general, I'm not talking now about the biotech, but the in general the startup. India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world and is home to more than 100 unicorn companies. We have around more than 1,080 incubation centers. More than 80 startups on an average are recognized per day. 50% startups are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which is very encouraging. There are 58,277 women-led entrepreneurs. There are 12 lakhs 42,000 jobs that are created. There are 11 um, employment generated per recognized startup is around 11, which is also very, very encouraging to see. The total number of startups as it stands, and these numbers are very dynamic, they keep on increasing, and with a very, very logarithmic pace, we have around 1,54,719 startups. Let's talk about what are the key offerings which BIRAC has actually enabled in the last 10 years. And many of you all know this, but I just wanted to make sure that we encapsulate in a figure here, uh, and we provide you as a gist. So the key offerings that we have from BIRAC is entrepreneurship development, funding, grants, investments, capacity building, which is incubation, mentorship and training, recognition, both national, global, at the global platforms. If you see the graph here, which represents the crux and the key of what we have so far created as an ecosystem, is that we have various programs. We have created those programs which were highly needed for the ecosystem. And if you can see, it starts with the ideation, idea development, concept, proof of concept, early stage development, late stage development, and all these development stage. If you see, we have parallel or corresponding programs, funding programs corresponding to each one. If you say, for example, ideation stage, we have EUR centers which provide students with the lot of support system to carry out their idea, to check their ideas and do proof of concept in the universities and colleges where they are studying. Then, of course, social innovation and immersion program, where the spur centers come into picture. The Biotech Ignition Grant is the main flagship program of this ideation phase, where we actually give funding to do proof of concept to not only the companies but innovators also. Then academic innovation research, CIBRI, CRS, and BIPP, as you all know, is caters to the need of early stage and late stage development. But beyond that, also we have this. These are all the grants, and co-funding mechanisms. But we have some, equity funding mechanisms also, and seed fund, lead fund, ACE fund are three equity-based instruments that we have. Seed and lead fund is operated through our incubation centers, and ACE fund is operated through BIRAC directly. But we have empaneled some 14, venture funding companies, uh, which actually they co-fund. We put some fund, and they also put some fund to make it a bigger corpus, and then they deploy these funds to the startup companies on. And we directly do not invest, but they invest on our behalf, and we also get some pro rata dilution, equity dilution when it is diluted when they exit. So, and there is a PCP also, which is product commercialization program, where it's lab to market basically. When the innovation has reached a certain stage of commercialization, and if some funds are required just to take to the market, we have this PCP. I think many of our companies have received this PCP fund. 12 years of BIRAC, 100 plus incubation centers, 10 lakh plus square feet incubation space. We have 15 lakh plus student entrepreneurs, 800 plus products in the market, more than 1,300 IPs have been filed, 28,000 plus proposals have been assessed, 4,800 plus startups and entrepreneurs have been supported, 6,350 plus crores follow-on funding has been raised by more than 180 startups, 100 plus national and international partnerships have been achieved, 400 plus academia has been supported, 35,000 plus high skill jobs have been created, 10,000 plus mentor school are there with BIRAC and our partners. 6,600 crore total investment has been done through BIRAC, through various mechanisms, and out of which 4,000 crore is directly from BIRAC and 2,600 crore is co-funding by the industry and others. If you comparatively see the startup ecosystem in 2014 versus what it was in 2024, the 10 years gap period which I'm talking about, the 10 years period which I'm talking about. So in 2014 we have 50 startups only, and now we are talking of 9,000 startups. There were only 10 incubation centers in 2014. Now we are talking about 100 plus incubation centers. So logarithmic scale if you see, it is more than actually 10 times, more than 10 times, and more than actually even more than 10 times, and at many parameters. 1 lakh square feet incubation space we had in 2014. Now we have 10 lakh square feet incubation space. Um, Earlier we had 100 plus mentor network. Now we have 10,000 mentor network. We had 10 billion bioeconomy. Now it is 150 billion, more than 150 billion bioeconomy. So the huge logarithmic scale, the products developed through BIRAC support system are many. Few of them have been listed here. Don't get disheartened if your products from your incubation center is not. We have just randomly selected some. I think if we display all the 8,000 products, it will be the screen will be full, and there will be many screens required. But I congratulate you all for helping this ecosystem and nurturing these startups in our country. And I think it's a tremendous work that we have achieved, and we have all done through our passion. I know there is no structured career growth in incubation professional for incubation professionals, but I also know that we all are driven by the passion. So, although this is a last slide, but actually I would like to say a few more things which are not covered in the slide. First and foremost, as I said, scalability is the issue, and BIRAC would be geared towards solving this scalability issue of the startups. So first is how to strengthen the incubation centers to develop capacity. For example, CGMP facility or a pilot scale facility, or a more space that can be created. Definitely, there are schemes in BIRAC, current schemes, which strengthens. You can go to phase one or phase two programs for BioNest, but then I think we will come out with some more programs where you can more and more incubation centers can apply to strengthen their the capacities, both in space as well as the equipment and the scale-up facilities that you can provide. As I said, the other issue of scalability is the venture funding. So we have created this ACE fund, which is fund of funds. I think we are going to scale it up. The ACE fund will be scaled up. So I invite and encourage all of you to actually go through this ACE scheme and encourage your startup to apply for this. I think it will be a game changer, because this is going to be because early stage funding, venture funding was always a gap, and our ACE fund fills that gap. We will also strengthen our seed fund and lead fund mechanism, because those are also a very good way to help our startups in equity funding. Um, I would encourage you to look into the academic industry partnership. When I talk about industry academia partnership, what I mean is, you please go to the nearest academic institutions. You may be inside an academic institutions and you may be outside also sometimes. But if you are inside the academic institution, please do not only confine to that academic institution as far as IPs and the technologies are concerned. You can also go to other academic institutions and national public research labs where technologies may be lying on shelf, CSIR labs, DBT labs, etc., and where there may be no incubation centers. You can actually help these technologies to go to the market through entrepreneurial mechanisms. So create an entrepreneur in residence program where these entrepreneurs in residence or would be entrepreneurs can work on these technologies and create an entrepreneurship. So it's an institutional mechanism to create entrepreneurship, and it will be very effective if you can design such program. BIRAC is already working on it, and definitely we would like to roll out some of these programs. Uh, what it will do is also it will take more many deep tech technologies into the market arena, because most of these deep tech are lying in the public research institutions, because these are the institutions which are actually deeply funded by the government. The R&D expenditure, most of it goes to, although it's only 0.8% of the GDP, but it goes to these institutions of national relevance, and there are a lot of technologies there, because there's no mechanism there in those research institutions to take these technologies to the market. Only some scheme of, some kind of mechanism is the technology transfer, which is anyway not a very efficient mechanism. So you should work on entrepreneurs in residence program, or any program through which you can think that these technologies can actually go to the market. It will also encourage deep tech. uh, Second is, you should work with the industry also, because industry is here in our country, it's a very close knit community, and many of these industry would like to help startups through collaboration, through strategic partnership, through strategic funding. And there are many examples where I can say that it may not work, it may or may not work, but I would encourage you to explore those options. Many of these industries may need those equipment which are there in incubation centers, and you can help crystallize or cross hybridize the ideas when they come and use the equipment. Actually, you can give some space also to them, a small space to work, so that they regularly come to the incubation centers and interact with the startups. And who knows what kind of collaboration can happen. So these are very, very important aspects. I think you should work on that. The other thing which BIRAC is working on is to how to create global presence, global footprint. So we are thinking to create some global accelerators, BIRAC centers also globally. So what it will do is it will encourage our startups or showcase our startups to the at the global level. If there is a BIRAC center, for instance, it will encourage or it will showcase our startups, some of the promising startups who want to go global at that forum. And many of the venture capitalists, they can actually look out for these innovations and they can fund. Um, there is some hesitancy from the venture capitalists across the globe to actually fund Indian companies who are located in India. Although the scene is changing, but still there is a lot of hesitancy because they may not know. our startup ecosystem may not have been showcased or exposed to the global level. But BIRAC regional centers or global accelerators can definitely do that. So I think these were some of the points I really wanted to share with you. And I would congratulate you, all of you, who have done a tremendous task of creating this whole ecosystem, taking our country from 10 incubation centers to now more than 100 incubation centers, from taking the bioeconomy, and the large effort goes from you all taking the bioeconomy from 10 billion to now 150, more than 150 billion. So many new products that have come to the market, so many new technologies that will be coming out in the market very soon. I think the 3% market share that I was talking about, it should definitely be more than 10% market share by volume, I'm saying. By value, it should be more and more. So with these, actually, I would like to conclude my talk, and I would like to answer a few of the questions that you might have. So over to you, Chaya, if you have any comments, or if you have any questions that you have already compiled, I would like to address them.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And yes, startups are the lifeline of any economy and driving creativity, creating jobs, and solving world's most pressing challenges. From healthcare to agri-tech, from clean energy to sustainability, the diverse range of BIRAC-supported startups that we see today is actually a testament to the determination of our entrepreneurs. And the National Startup Day has provided us this opportunity to not only celebrate the achievements of our startups, but also to reflect on the support system that make these successes possible. So I would like to inform you that it is heartening to see I've been receiving videos, pictures from all across our incubation centers, 100 plus incubation centers, where students are sitting, listening to your address. Researchers are, startups, entrepreneurs from all across our incubation ecosystem are listening to your address today. So it is about coming together, entrepreneurs, investors, mentors, and the wider ecosystem to acknowledge the collective effort that goes into building something extraordinary from ground up. So I have a few questions, sir, that maybe you can address right now. Sir, we've received this question from Manipal Incubation Center, Government of Karnataka and Bioness from Bangalore. So they have a question that considering the rapid evolution of technology in biotech and healthcare sectors, what strategic initiatives or specific funding schemes does BIRAC plan to introduce to support startups working on next generation innovations like AI driven diagnostics, precision medicine, and synthetic biology? So if you can.
Very, very important question. Very good question. For emerging technologies, we have specific programs we have launched many times, but we will intensify that effort. So AI in biotech, AI in drug discovery, synthetic biology, even biomanufacturing, all these are very, very emerging and cutting edge. We would like to launch new programs in these areas specifically. So the intensity will be much. We have already launched some of them, but intensity will be much more higher in this year and coming years.
Okay, sir. So just to add on, we have one more question, which is from Bio Valley Incubation Center from AMTZ BISAC. So they're asking that how much more financial or technical support can be expected from BIRAC in the coming year, that is 2025, since we
So
are
financial support definitely would be increased more and more because we have already spoken about increasing the number of incubation centers, increasing the number of research centers, increasing the number of EUA centers. For funding these startups, again, we have set programs already. We are thinking to actually increase the quantum every year because the numbers are increasing. So definitely it will be there. As far as the technical support is concerned, um, we have a huge mentor pool, and you can definitely tap into that. You can come to us saying that if you need some mentors, definitely we can also help you But apart from that, I would encourage you to talk to the academic institutions nearby in your locality and see that the scientists can be roped into the innovation ecosystem for the technical knowledge, so that they also get the chance to work with the startup and see what kind of innovations are happening. For example, if you are in near any central university or IITs or CSIR labs or DBT labs, and your startup is facing an issue in fermentation, for example, or in say cell and gene therapy, you identify the expert in that area in your locality and encourage them to interact with the startup to solve that problem. You can also talk to BIRAC to suggest you some of the companies who are into these areas. Of course, I know there is issue of the confidentiality and all, but we have to work around it because we have to work together in some way. And it will be very good to actually see how the confidentiality issues can be resolved through CDA mechanisms and many other. If BIRAC is a mediator, for example, I think these confidentiality issues will not come if you are if you are working with the bigger companies. So I think those are some of the mechanisms which we can tap into.
So we've received a few questions from our EUR centers as well. So basically, I would request you to motivate our UG level students because they've been participating in this EUVA program. But how these centers have asked that how should we keep these students motivated even after the grant finishes? So how should we keep the students motivated? So your words of encouragement.
I think the most important thing that we have to realize is that the jobs are government jobs, especially, are diminishing. They are not actually in future. There will be less and less government jobs. The private jobs in biotechnology may increase, but then you may work for some time to get some experience of how actually the industry and the startup work, but it may not give you the ultimate satisfaction. The ultimate satisfaction will come only when you work on your technology and idea and be a job giver rather than job creator rather than a job seeker. And the whole world is moving towards that. As we see the economy grows, the more and more entrepreneurs come into the market, more and more innovators actually spin out companies. If you see US, for example, right from 1800, later part of 1800 to now, we talk about Singer, sewing machine, Kodak camera, you talk about Henry Ford, and then later, when the biotech revolution happened after 1953, Watson Crick developed, discovered DNA. The recombinant DNA technology took shape in 1973, for example, 1970s. And after that, there are a lot of innovations in the area. You see a lot of startups in this area. Many of these startups may not have the highest degree also. So you need not, the question was, how can I encourage you to be in the innovation? Of course, I'm not discouraging you to go for higher education. All I'm trying to say is that definitely you can go for higher education, but keep the seed of innovation in your mind always. Whenever the time is opportune and your mind is, ready, you can start giving shape to your idea towards that, product development, commercialization, enterprise generation, and innovation. Um, as far as mechanisms are concerned which can sustain your interest, I think you should apply for Biotech Ignition grant after you have finished your EUA grant. So for that, you may have to start a company. Don't think starting a company is too much of a time. You can definitely start a company. It's just a week or maybe a month it will take to start a company. I know it's a discipline, it's a rigor, but please do that. And once you are into this stream of Biotech Ignition grant, then you can definitely apply for bigger grants like SIBRI, BIPP, and uh, PCPs, and even come to venture funding through ACE Fund. Apart from BIRAC mechanisms, there are funds from DPIIT, Startup India Fund, Nidhi Seed Fund from DST. So there are different mechanisms available with the government, with the same ministry, with the same department that I'm working on. Through DST, through ICMR also has a lot of funds. So funding, I think this is one of the best times to start a company and to give shape to your ideas. There are a lot of opportunities available. I would also, to sustain your interest, I would also like you to work with some startup companies actually, and see how they actually tackle day-to-day problems and what is the strategy that they are, So it will keep your ambition and the passion always in the right direction.
Thank you, sir. My next question, if Ms. Shilpi Kochar is there, uh, is directed to you. So, to strengthen the operational capabilities and strategic impact of incubation centers, does BIRAC plan to organize exclusive training programs and capacity building sessions for incubation managers led by industry experts, along with maybe curated industrial visits? So, the Shilpi Kochar is head for strategic partnerships and entrepreneurship development in BIRAC. Maybe she can take up this question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chaya. Very relevant and an important question as we celebrate the national.
Your voice is breaking. Is it only me which is having the. Everybody can hear the same echoes.
Yes, should be your voice is breaking.
Startup day today, as the bioincubation ecosystem has been the backbone for strengthening the entire innovation sector, creating new mechanics. We have
I think there's some issue. Chaya, you can continue
Yes,
in case.
yes, sir. Okay, sir. So I'll take up the last question now, sir. This is for you. So, sir, given the increasing focus on sustainability and bio-based innovations, how does BIRAC plan to integrate environmental impact
BIRAC is
uh, sustainability goals into the funding and support structure for biotech startups? So basically, focus towards environmental impact and sustainability goals. So ensuring that our biotech startups are aligned with the global sustainability targets also. So are we planning to?
Yeah, so we have definitely a very, very important focus on social impact, sustainability, and solving the or addressing the sustainable development goals. I think when we do selection of programs or proposals for funding, I think one of the angle is social impact that we always look at. What is going to solve, how it is going to solve a national issue or a global issue, and definitely one of the major issues is the climate change, the carbon capture, how to actually do waste management. All these things are very, very important problems. If you see, we have launched specific programs on that, bio toilets, for example, or carbon capture. We have specifically launched some specific programs. But I would like to suggest to all the entrepreneurs is that irrespective of your profit margins, the bottom lines, I think the most important aspect in coming years would be how you are actually solving or making sustainable your innovations are sustainable in nature. Everybody is going towards bio now, and even in bio, it's going towards green chemistry, greener or environmentally sustainable ways in which the innovation can be carried out. In future, I see that all chemical driven industry would actually shift to biology. May not be just in immediate future, but over the years, because it may require some kind of business models, it may require some kind of infrastructure development or innovations or efficiency issues, etc. But slowly it will move. We will see innovations where the most of these problems about the global challenges will be actually taking the paramount importance. And climate change is definitely one. Actually, to be honest, we have major issues of climate change facing the world. Is one is climate change. Second is nuclear problem, nuclear warfare issue, which can have erupt, anytime in this volatile world. And third is our, the inequality that we have in our whole world, where we have people who are very rich and people who are very poor, people haves and have nots. So this is not a sustainable world. Sustainability has many different dimensions. One is sustainable through ecological sustainability, but other is social sustainability. How can you have people who have all the facilities and all the privileges and people who do not have, so they will not live in peace. So it's not sustainable. And that's why we have a lot of wars and other issues. So therefore, any innovation in these areas will actually have a lot of impact. AI is going to play a huge role in everything, because if we talk about biotech, then drug discovery, the supply chain management, supply chain for the pharmaceuticals. I think AI will have a huge impact. So incorporate, please incorporate. My suggestion is to incorporate SDGs in your innovation. Make sure that how your innovation is going to have a most sustainable mechanism, not only ecologically but business sustainability also. um, in fact, we should have a program, or we should have a mechanism where before launching the product in the market, its impact on the environment and impact, the long term impact on the environment, and any how it is going to be degradable or how it is going to be disposed, etc., should be checked before launching. And I think without that, we should not be launching any of the product which may have you know issues with the environment or even the other SDGs, etc. So these are very important things to mention. And if you need help from BIRAC, definitely we would be very help. We will be very forthcoming to help you in that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So we've received many more questions, and I think we can get back to all of you with the answers because of the availability of time. So we'll take up only these many questions.
But I would like to, Chaya, before we end, actually, I would like to just mention one thing, which has, which this bad incident or very sad and tragic incident, tormenting incident happened in Bangalore Biomanufacturing Center, where I was MD earlier, and I left 1.5 years back to join BIRAC. This was built last 10 years in a very, very efficient mechanism. All I'm trying to say is that this is a very, very sad occasion for our whole ecosystem, because one of the prominent incubation centers got damaged in fire. All I'm trying to say is that we should learn from such incidents, that it should not be repeated in any of our bionest incubation centers. Put all the places of put all the safety measures, uh, try to follow all the SOPs. Please create environment, health, and safety mechanisms. EHS definitely should be, a EHS committee should always be there. Incident reporting mechanisms should be in place, and unannounced inspection in the labs should be there, so that no inflammable chemicals or solvent should be there in any lab more than allowed capacity. So more than 1 liter or 2 liters should not be there. We should, all incubation centers should create a mechanism for safe disposal of waste. They should also create mechanism where the chemicals should be kept outside of the building, so that even if there is a disaster, it will be localized. So very sad day, and it was heartening to see that many of you had come forward for help to these startups. Startups have lost everything. See, buildings can be erected again, constructed again. Equipment can be purchased. Although there is a huge loss, but still it can be done. But nobody can revive the dreams and aspirations of the startups which got gutted. Many of them had cell lines. Many of them had, investors who had given money. Many had taken debt to purchase the equipment. Those are also damaged, and cell lines, etc., and all that. So it's a huge, huge loss for the ecosystem, unfathomable. And I would urge all of you to please look into the safety measures and join hands together to learn best practices, and deploy the SOPs properly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for also touching on the issue that happened just day before yesterday, and which was very unfortunate. The ecosystems should take lessons from what all happened and should learn from the mistakes going forward. And so now, as we come to the end of today's event, it's just end of the address, but our day's events that are being organized by our Pioneers, Yuva, and Sparsh centers will kick off right now. And we encourage all of you to engage, network, learn from each other, and let's continue to foster a culture of collaboration, innovation, and entrepreneurship that will propel our nation to new heights. Thank you, and we look forward to a day full of inspiration, learning, and celebration. With this,
No, actually, because Taranjit is also here,
yes.
she can just also say a few words about her Biotech Ignition grant so that people, encouraged to write and they see what is happening there and all that. So over to
Yeah,
you.
so we have Ms. Taranjeet Kaur also with us today. So she is leading the Biotechnology Ignition Grant. All of you must be knowing. So I had previously asked MD sir this question about how undergraduate students can move forward and how they should be motivated. So I'll hand it over to Ms. Taranjeet Kaur, and she can briefly tell about the Biotechnology Ignition. Over to you, Taran.
Thank you so much. And before I begin and let you know about VIG's team, I would like to congratulate each one of you on this prestigious day. And as we all know that BIG scheme, it's a flagship scheme of BIRAC, and it is actually building the base of our innovation pyramid, and it is to strengthen the base of innovation. So, Biotechnology Ignition Grant is there to, build the first generation entrepreneurs in our country. So, as you all are aware of, it provides 50 lakhs funding, rupees, Indian rupees to help innovators, to get their ideas to proof of concept stage. It actually helps them, give them initial funding and de-risk, and also build a credibility to, get further investment for their ideas and to take their ideas to, to market. So I think it's up to all of us to create awareness about this scheme and spread the word across the nation. We are actually about to launch our 25th call, maybe a couple of days more, and I would say week more, I would say. So we are internally doing some, because it's our 25th call that will be announced soon. So we want to come up with, a better version of our platform, and it should be user friendly. We all know that our BIG application was quite exhaustive. We are working on it so that it just takes a day or half a day to complete your application rather than lingering on that application. So we are working on it, and we'll be getting back to you soon with a new update, with the new date as well, when we are going to announce our 25th call. So I would urge each one of you to create awareness about this scheme. It is one of the best scheme. This model is being replicated by other ministries as well to inculcate the innovation ecosystem in different areas. So that's also my side, and once again, congratulate to each one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Taranji. I think Ms. Shilpi Kochar is also back with us. Before ending this, I would like to hand it over to Ms. Shilpi Kochar if she has, maybe she can address the previous question as well regarding the incubation managers and also say a few words. Over to you, Shilpi.
Thank you, Chaya. I hope I am audible now.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so we were discussing about training the trainers program, and I was talking about how the BINEST and EU and SPUR centers have been the backbone of the entire innovation ecosystem, and the kind of biotech public infrastructure that BIRAC has put in place for startups to be able to access. It's accessed by more than 3,000 startups. So it's something which is incredible, and BIRAC has been instrumental in shaping up this entire infrastructure. and we are now taking lead towards the biomanufacturing and coming up with newer pioneering initiatives to strengthen this ecosystem further. As one of these initiatives, today we have launched an advertisement as a national call for BIRAC Edge centers that we call as enabling development and growth of enterprises. So these are the incubation centers which offers a physical, tangible space. In addition to that, there's a lot of entrepreneurial support which the startups require to be able to scale and grow. So what we are looking forward to come, these incubation centers and the ESOs can come forward and offer such services. Under these edge centers, one of the verticals is the strengthening of the bio incubation ecosystem, where we'll be offering these training the trainers program and such capacity building programs for the biotech incubators as well. This is one of the 6 verticals. I encourage all of you as incubators and the ESOs to log on to the BIRAC website and read more about the RFP, which offers 6 verticals, including internationalization, field validation, and then we have promoting investments, the focus on NER, focusing deep tech innovations. As going forward, we all know that the next leap would be driven by the deep tech startups. And as Dr. Jitendra mentioned about us taking care of the ecosystem as well to protect and preserve what has been created is very important. And at the same time, startup journeys, although entrepreneurship kind of thrills, it is thrilling, but it is challenging as well. So it requires a lot more support. Being your own boss is charming, but there is a lot of support that these startups require from all of us as an enabling governance, from all of you as the incubation ecosystem. So all of us can probably think of new mentoring programs, something on the entrepreneurial well-being. Last year, we saw a few young startup founders. We lost a few young startup founders to cardiac arrest, to certain such things. There's a lot of pressure that these startups go through. So it is important that we also recognize these pressures. While it is good to celebrate, we are into the 10th year of the Startup India mission. It's all very encouraging facts and figures that we are celebrating. At the same time, let us also work towards strengthening and preserving this ecosystem and providing them all the more support that they require. Think about their well-being. Let us think about the kind of counseling, the mentoring that they need. Maybe the incubation center itself can create certain mechanisms, for example, some yoga, meditation, some gyms, some kind of a mentoring support, which could be like an HR or a support for these entrepreneurs because they are all on of their own. It's a very lonely journey. So I would just conclude by saying that let's all gear up towards the next leap for entrepreneurship. Wish you all a very happy National Startup Day and take Namaskar and Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Shilpi. Thank you for telling, letting our incubation centers know about the Edge program that has been launched today. MD sir, shall we end this, or do you have any?
Yeah, no, we shall end. I just want to again wish you all a very, very happy National Startup Day, and keep safe. And we will be meeting more often now. So thank you so much for joining in large numbers, and we are very thrilled. You keep on posting the exciting journey that you share with us, the exciting journey that you have. You share it on the WhatsApp group. I keep on seeing that. I think it's exciting times. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and wish you a very happy National Startup Day. Keep motivating the startups and entrepreneurs. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.